Saturday, December 14th, the 14th day of Whiskey Advent with the Scotch Whisky Advent Calendar 6th edition. What's it going to be? Let's check it out on the Whiskey Whistle. Sleigh bells ring, my whiskey friends. Mark here at Whiskey Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America, bringing you day 14 with the Scotch Whisky Advent Calendar 6th edition. What is it going to be today? Yesterday was really great, wasn't it? That was such a beautiful Aaron, 21-year-old. Hopefully that's not a spoiler for you. Hopefully you're on the day. If you are starting your calendar late, just start with the current day and then catch up with the previous days. All right, so we're on to day 14. Let's look for our number 14. It's right there. So let's get that little pog out. Don't fall in. Got it. Okay, and out comes the whiskey. And what do you see there? I can't quite see what that is. I think that might be A.D. Rattray. I see something there with an uff. Is it Milton Duff? Let's find out. Oh, I'm right. Milton Duff, 10-year-old from A.D. Rattray, distilled in 2008. The cask type is bourbon. And you know I like bourbon. Bourbon casks and me, we're like this. 60.9% ABV. Did you hear that? The ABV is 60.9%. The region is Speyside, and the cask number is 701221. You might be able to buy that from A.D. Rattray, the Milton Duff 10-year-old, 2008. 60.9% ABV. Beautiful golden hue. The cask type says bourbon. Whether that's first fill or second, it's hard to say. Given that's 10 years old, my guess is that's second fill. Just a guess. I've got my Scotch Whisky Advent Calendar 6th edition glass ready here. And let's get it poured. Great having cask strength. There's a lot of cask strength in this calendar, and that's pretty awesome. All right, in it goes. Ooh, that was maybe a bigger pour than I meant. Oh well, more for me. "10 years old. We'll start by looking at the color of the whiskey. Then we'll check out the legs, the whiskey legs. See how those are for this Milton Duff 10-year-old. And I gotta say, I do like Milton Duff quite a lot. Milton Duff is a standard component in one of the best blends in the world, and that is Ballantine's. We'll talk about the rankings to date, and then we'll check out the nose, the palate, and the finish for this Milton Duff 10-year-old and give it a Whiskey Whistle whiskey score. The color, first of all. What do you see there for color? A nice light gold, like 10K gold maybe. Dark straw. Harvest time, kind of like a straw color. It's beautiful, it's natural. I think it's unchill filtered, and that's awesome. All right, now let's have a look at the legs for the Milton Duff 10-year-old. Let's see. Fairly slow, actually. Maybe those are very active first fill bourbon casks. Excellent legs. Very showy. Well, I can't wait to try it. Likely it's going to have a medium to slightly full-bodied mouthfeel. All right, now I want to set that down just for a few minutes, and I want to talk about the rankings to date. Since it's day 14, that means 2 full weeks have passed. Now, we don't know where this lies yet, but let's look at the rankings for 13th all the way to first place, all right? So 13th place for me with 81 points was Lord Elcho from Weems Malts. 1 point above that, also from Weems Malts, was Kingsbarns, the Dream to Dram. I guess that's their first bottling, and I think it's great for a nice young whiskey. 3 points above that, for 85 points, the undisclosed Orkney 10-year-old, which we believe is Highland Park. 1 point above that for 86 is Big Pete, the standard edition. Solid score for them. Tied with Big Pete, so that is tied for 9th place, is Tom and Towel. Tom and Towel, 13-year-old, that was the second whiskey from day 2. Beautiful stuff. 1 point above that is Lecheg with 87. And 1 point above that, tied for 6th place, are Toeymore and Burnside. Burnside is Balvenie with a little bit of Glenfiddich added. So that's 88 points. In 5th place from Douglas Lang was Scallywag with 89 points. 1 point above in 4th place was Aaron, 21-year-old from yesterday. Tied for 2nd. We have a tie for 2nd place now. The very first day, Auchentoshan, 92 points. And Duffton, 11-year-old, also 92 points. And the new first place for me, first place on course, is the Ben Rennes with 93 points. So let's find out how this Milton Duff fares. First of all, the nose. It's really interesting because typically you find Milton Duff in a sherry cask. So here we have it in a bourbon. And it's still very fruity. I still get some dried fruits. Isn't that interesting? It seems as though the ideal cask for Milton Duff might actually be sherry, but this bourbon cask is doing a nice. But this bourbon cask did a nice job too. We have lots of vanilla. We've got light dried fruits, very light scent. Dried apples, dried mangoes. Some underripe peach. There's a light waxiness about it as well. Like waxed pine wood. And it's got a little bit of prickliness on the nose. Some ginger. Some lemon oil. Ginger powder. Interesting. What a mixed bag this is. Let's get on to the palate, shall we? Cheers, everyone. Hope you're enjoying your Whiskey Advent calendars. I get some eucalyptus here. A little bit of menthol. It's very dry. This might be one of the drier whiskeys that I've tasted. The finish is very fruity. Lots of vanilla as well. Let's try that palette one more time. Icing sugar. Ginger candy. A little bit of this eucalyptus. Slight mentholic note. There's vanilla in there. Peach pit. That is a bruiser. It's time to add a bit of water. And I'm using my new whiskey water dropper. Let's give that a little bit of water. Not too much. We're going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 drops. That's about not quite a milliliter, according to science. This is telling me that it really does need water because of how dry and how oomphy it is. I know that's not a word. It's really got some heft. All right, let's check out that nose now with water. Much more vanilla. More peach. Yes, this is going in the right direction. A little hint of leather appearing as well, and you know I like that leather. I wouldn't call this a supremely active bourbon cask, so I'm thinking it is second fill. And I think it didn't quite tame this cask strength Milton Duff very well. But we're going to give it the full review with a bit of extra water yet. It's really coming around though. Some Christmas baking. The Danish brun, how do you say that? Brunkær. The brown cookie with a little almond on it. My mother just made some. All right, the palate with a little bit of water. Cheers. Complete progression towards something a little bit more tame and palatable. I'm getting some toasted coconut on the palate. That peach is still there. Vanilla. The ginger. I'm even getting those ginger cookies, spiced ginger cookies on the palate. That's that brunkær I was talking about. And the mouthfeel, surprisingly, is just medium. On the finish now, I'm getting way more peach pits than before. So that's great. Okay, we're going to add more water here. I'm going to put 10 more drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not bad control. I'm still learning to handle this whiskey dropper. You can also use an eyedropper, and those work very well. We got some from two brewers as a little sort of a Christmas gift for the Winnipeg Whiskey Club. Everybody was really happy to get those. Guys, make sure you put up a little photo of that kind of thing, okay? That really helps. I know. Well, it does. And I think if you have kind of like a small craft brand, I think it's okay to give them a little bit of a help on social media. Ralphie does it. North Star, how many times has he been there? Now, I love North Star quite a lot, but I'm just saying. So, yeah, be independent. And yes, use your creative license and speak your mind. But also remember that you're dealing with brands, and you're dealing with people, and you're dealing with workers, and there's all kinds of things involved. So sometimes I find that some people are a little bit misguided in their blogging, vlogging, especially when they tell someone not to buy something. Okay, so 20 drops of water now, still clear as a bell. So we've added just over 1.2 milliliters. And yeah, the vanilla is really coming out here. Oh yeah. But I feel like we're not there yet. 10 more. Whoa, 7, 8, 9, 10. Love the sound. It's beautiful. Okay, so 30 drops. We're getting close to 2 milliliters added. Still quite a lot of alcohol content in there. I'm thinking we're still well over 50. Simple math there, 15 milliliters, 60%. All right, so that's 9 milliliters of pure alcohol. And we've added 2. So now we're up to 17 milliliters. So 9 out of 17. What's that? Big leather coming through here now with all this water added. Yeah, we're around about 53% still. So this is really nice though. This is where I'm stopping. I've got leather, I've got the vanilla that's added. That ginger has tamed down a little bit. Lemon oil still slightly there. And notice I haven't mentioned the eucalyptus or the menthol again. Let's check the palate out one more time. Cheers, everyone. Still slightly there, that menthol, a little bit of eucalyptus. But those peach pits have really come through. The vanilla has really come through. Those brown cookies, the I can't say that very well. Prunke has added up a little bit. And I'm really enjoying this. Those toasted coconut flakes, the finish, that delicious peach pit, vanilla, the ginger, medium dry now. So the dryness is toned down quite a bit. Now this, folks, is what you call a slow sipper. I'm guessing that would probably take me an hour to finish a whole glass of this. Because it's complex, because it starts off a little angrily and it needs a little bit of teasing with water. See, now I'm getting that classic Milton Duff, savory, slightly roasted fruit note. Another nice Milton Duff you can grab for not much money is the Milton Duff 15-year-old for Ballantine's. Ballantine's, it says Ballantine's on the label, but it's a single malt Milton Duff 15. Try that out. Well, final taste here. Cheers. Dry, slightly sour, sweet, menthol, peach, vanilla, coconut. A little bit of something roasted going on there. Now, this is very enjoyable. Let me give you the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey Score, and then we'll talk about that a little bit. All right, folks, the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey Score for Milton Duff 10-year-old. What is that going to be? Well, it's going to be 87 points. 87 points is the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey Score for Milton Duff 10-year-old from 80 Rattray, 60.9%, distilled in 2008 in a bourbon cask 701221. So that's the score. I know that some of you will find this a little bit tough, a little bit difficult, but take your time. Lessen your sip size. Add more water. I think I could probably add Another 20. That's about 20 in there. And still have a wonderful full flavored whiskey to smell and taste. The vanilla just comes out even more. It's still dry. The roasted fruits even more. More peach. More brunker. It gets sweeter and sweeter, and the dryness diminishes and diminishes. I'm going to stay at 87 points. I think it's delicious. It's a little bit tough to work with, but once you get the hang of that, if I had a full bottle of it, I would be so happy to have that on my shelf. So 87 points for me. Give me your tasting notes for that, please, in a comment. Tell me your rankings. Now, where does this Milton Duff line up in our week 2 total rankings? So, this becomes a tie now with Lecheg for 8th place. All right, so Ben Rinnes first, 93, Auchentoshan 92, Dufton 92, Aaron 90, Scallywag 89, Toyamore and Burnside 88, Lecheg and Milton Duff 87, better put that in now. 10th place Tom and Towel, tied with Big Pete for 86 points. 12th place Orkney 10-year-old, 13th place King's Barnes Dream to Dram, and 14th place Lord Elcho. So that's my rankings. Let me know what yours are. Hope you enjoyed that, folks. If you've watched that till now, hit this little emblem here to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell so you're notified of the future whiskey whistles. Ding ding. That helps the channel quite a lot. And if you've been enjoying my content time and time again, binging on WhiskyWhistle, then jump in and join the WhiskyWhistle crew on Patreon. Patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. Become a patron. You can do it. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you for day 15. Goodbye now.